So real estate is actually a very safe investment.
And some of the consultants out there or agents out there, they are order takers.
You really need someone as a coach in a way. When it comes to upgrading, it's very important to do this property selection. What is the framework? What is the strategy that you're buying into?
Welcome back, guys, to More Than Money, the podcast where we talk about property, money, and mindset. I am Jeffrey.
And I'm Elfie. And today we're going to talk about case study. This is part of our More Than Money Property by Design. Is a mini segment
Mini
that we
series,
have. Mini series, right? And we are trying to give you guys a real glimpse of what's happening on the ground. Real life case studies, right? These are not theories, okay? These things really happen, and this is one of the cases that I'm going to share today.
Yeah, so most of the time it's like concepts that we are trying to share with our clients to unlock that mental kind of barrier or mental block, a mind block that, are you sure this is the right thing to do? And then from all these concepts, then they have more clarity in terms of the purpose.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, today I'm going to walk through exactly how Ahmad and Siti went from a $920,000 HDB.
Before that, what's the slide just now?
Oh, okay. So
the fully paid up HDB trap.
Yes, fully paid up.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's this trap?
So today, it's a case study that I'm going to walk you through this case about how Ahmad and Siti went from a 920k HDB to being on track for $3.3 million in net worth at retirement. Okay. And there's this one single mindset shift that made it all possible. Just one.
Booms.
Okay. So I'm going to share. Right. Just now, Jeff was saying there's a lot of mindset shifts that will happen as you go along your property journey. Right. Going from HDB and then upgrading to another HDB, there's nothing to think of. It's like it's basic, straightforward. But when you're talking about growing your wealth by design, sometimes there's a character change or some mindset beliefs that you'll have to overcome eventually. So that's where we are going to help you out. So number one, this is very common. A couple in their 40s, stable pay, both of them, combined income around 20 plus K. But unfortunately, when it comes to handling or growing their assets, they are very, very weak because they are good at what they are doing, right? They are professionals and they are sitting on a HDB flat that they have fully paid up since the last 10 years, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it was easy for them,
That's
right?
true.
Because their CPF is 800 plus K combined. But the error is, with their active income, there's a certain kind of lifestyle that they're used to. If anything happens to their active income, boom, that's it. And they are like 20 years plus away from retirement.
That's true.
So that's why they are in such a dangerous zone. And I'm glad and happy to have served them. I feel like, the stars align, this was their situation. And a lot of people feel like, we've made it. Like this is such a milestone. We fully paid our HDB flat. But little do they know, you need a property for a good retirement. How you end at 65, which property you're ending with, that will determine your retirement per se.
Life.
Yes, your life.
Okay,
right?
what you end up with.
Okay. So they have a stagnant HDB flat and 2% to 3% growth maybe if they're lucky, but it's a 30-year-old HDB flat. Okay. And so you see, if they still held on to their HDB for the next 20 years at a 2% growth, it's going to go up to 1.37 million.
Okay, so this is 920,000, 2% year on year.
Correct.
They are on track to get about 1.37 million.
Exactly.
Okay. By the time they are about 65.
Yes. So this is CAGR.
So what is
compounded annual growth rate.
Okay.
Right?
Tiger,
right? But we reviewed their portfolio, that they eventually bought a 2.2 million property. And then that is the amount of investment they made. 550,000 investment to grow to 3.3 million.
They are on track.
To grow at the same rate, 2%, right? I'm not trying to be biased, to grow at 3.3 million. And they are buying a property that is 20 years younger.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It's a penthouse.
Okay. So the difference is close to 2 million.
Close to 2 million, you're right. Exactly.
Okay. 2 million in 20 years.
Yes. 100%. And just now you were asking me, so why not we leverage on their holdings, the total 920,000. We can 4x 9, 18, 27, 36, up to 3.6 million. So the plan was for them to buy this property first and then set aside some monies to diversify to certain other things, right? Other property investments. So there's still around 400,000 just lying around unused.
Yeah, but I think the misconception is you have to do it simultaneously. Like, okay, if we were to sell and purchase one for own stay, one for investment, it has to be done now.
Makes sense.
But you can adopt this mindset
Correct.
strategy whereby we have the own stay. And then when the time comes, you have the time and bandwidth to select the right property to invest and rent out.
Correct.
Okay.
Alright. Anyway, so when you meet a client for the first time, even for you, for me, usually they will say that, oh, we are risk averse. We are highly conservative, right? And then one of the reasons is they don't understand things to a level where they are comfortable with taking risks. Right? So that's why I think the transparency will kill off their fear. Telling them, if you are buying a property at this amount, how much is your exact cash that you have to put into the property on a monthly basis. Okay, so for this family, they knew exactly what were they getting into. So for example, if they bought a 2.2 million property, loan is 1.65 million at 1.45% interest rate, which is the current interest rate environment. Monthly installment is 7,612. CPF is $3,000. So the cash outlay every month is 4,612. Okay, and they also know their property tax, their mortgage reducing term assurance cost, right? That's something that we always talk about. And then third is the monthly maintenance. So if the agent or if the consultant is not sharing with you all these little things, then it makes people doubt whether they can do it or not. So it's simple as that.
I guess like the saying goes, fear is in the vague. And then once you have clarity, once it is clear, not only on why you should consider doing it, and you can actually do it, because once you break down the numbers, it is palatable, it is something that you're comfortable with, then it makes sense.
Yes.
Otherwise, it will be too far-fetched, too far out, that they will always constantly think that, oh, maybe this is not for me. Maybe I'm more than happy, I'm settled, like you said, I'm happy with my fully paid HDB, but they are not aware of the opportunity cost. Because it's not like they are about to retire the next 3 to 5 years. They have a good 15, 20 odd years that they are happy to continue working.
Yeah.
So if they are happy to do that and their property is stagnating, it's such a waste.
Yes.
Because just now we actually accounted for the opportunity cost, which is 2 million in 20 years.
Plus. So again, if you are, a consultant, there's this thing where you need to identify whether it's a why question or a what question or when question or a how question. So for them, it's really a mix of certain things. Why? They wanted to go into a private property, but they didn't know why. So of course, I had to spend a lot of time comparing their different investment options.
Okay.
So in a way, you have to know, okay, how are ETFs doing? How are certain stocks doing? Bonds, what are their returns, etc. So they got over the why. So now, eventually, the how was easy. For agents out there, it's really to identify. Because a lot of agents, let's say they sit in a presentation, they sit for 2 hours. And then they talk about everything.
From A to Z.
For example, let's say you, Mr. Jeffrey, you actually know the why. Why I need to invest in a private property. You know the why. And then I'm here trying to compare, oh, this is the returns for crypto and this is the returns for ETFs for the past few years. So for them,
It's like you are insulting my intelligence.
in a way, right? In a way.
Because I meet you,
Correct.
I already know the why.
Yes.
Can you help me discover the how, what to buy,
Exactly.
for example?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
makes
So a
sense.
tip for us, even, it's a very useful technique. Okay. So for them, it's really about understanding the how. They didn't need to know when. They didn't need to know why already. It's done. They what and how. That's the two questions that they had. Yeah. So again, transparency kills fear. And of course, this is another mental block that people think that if they buy a property, that, what if the market falls? So the next question is, by how much, right? And in what event will the market fall, let's say 20%? What will happen, right? If you're talking about
What has to happen?
What has to happen?
In order for it to fall by X amount.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if they say, maybe we are afraid that the property price will fall by 20%, in what circumstance? For example, let's say even a black swan event like COVID for example, how much did property fall? Property even made a reverse, it actually went up, right? So we need to also ask our clients this question, because the biggest investor is actually the bank, not you. You are only putting up 25%. The banks is putting up 75%.
3 times the amount.
3 times the amount. Government is 100% profit. Don't worry. It's like buyer's stamp duty, property tax. But all I'm saying is the banks are too big to fail. Where they already, if the banks valued your penthouse, let's say, this penthouse is at 2.3 million, and then you buy at 2.2 million, that means it's 100,000 undervalued.
Yep.
I can bet that they already have, DBS for example, has a system of analysts and experts to compute the valuation amount. And recently they put out a 2040 report, right, for the next 15 years, what's going to happen in the market. You can see how deep they went into the research. So if you're saying that it's risky, think again. Because if property market falls by 20%, do you think that the government will be just passive? We have like 13 cooling measures.
I think more.
Around there, where the government can always control.
Yeah.
Right?
So the last time they lifted a cooling measure was the SSD.
Yes.
And now they impose it again.
Correct.
So from 3 to 4 years, and then 4 to 3 years, now
3 to 4 years.
Now 3 to 4 years again.
Yeah. So you can see how fluid the government is. So if you're talking about real estate prices going down, by how much and at what instance? Is it a war, such a big war that things will we don't know. But all I'm saying is think about it.
Yeah.
Right?
On that topic, it's also like if the property market were to go down in a quarter, it doesn't matter to you. Because there's also this saying, when in doubt, zoom out.
Oh.
Because you are only making the move every 4, 7, 10 years.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if it falls this quarter, next quarter, for example. Those are for people who want to time the market.
You're right.
You shouldn't do it now.
You shouldn't do it. Interesting. Yesterday, I had this guy who texted. The questions is the why questions. Why invest in private property? It's like I had a very, not hard time, but I had to explain a lot of things, a lot of concepts. I hope it helped. But having said that, it feels like people who are, it's like a cognitive bias where, the property is going to fall. Then he showed me a HDB resale RPI in 2013 to 2018, how it fell.
Yep.
What if condo prices fell like this? Then I asked him, can you show me a graph? Because what you're showing me is the property that you are owning right now, which is a HDB resale.
Oh, okay. Confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias, where he's just taking all these negative things and just showing. So it's interesting that you are low risk, but you are staying in a property that is high risk. Yeah, so it's just what happened yesterday. So this income paradox, just now we were sharing.
Yep.
The most dangerous, the most riskiest kind of income is active income. Because if anything happens to you or your wife or your spouse, then obviously income won't come in. So what you should be doing with your active income is not to spend it and then after that, set a certain kind of lifestyle that you're used to, and it's very difficult to go back to that lower kind of lifestyle, but to put a good amount into an asset that can help you earn passive income
in the future. Okay.
Right? Because if you have an asset, it cannot die. It can only give you passive income. So that's why if you are earning 20K, 15K, you should be putting in a good portion of it into working assets. All right.
Okay. So what about for those who say that, if I were to take on this 75% loan, 1.5 million, for example, and I lose my active income, isn't that risky?
Oh, exactly, 100%. So when you're talking about losing, what are you talking about exactly? Is it
Death.
Job loss? Okay, so for death, it's covered by mortgage reducing term assurance. So you can just pay an insurance for it.
Okay.
So if you're talking about job loss, then, so let's say, I can't pay the $4,000 monthly anymore. So what is the worst case scenario? For you to actually rent out the property, because if you are buying at 2.2 million, the rental is easily 6.8, 6.9, close to 7. Can you then go back to a HDB to rent, right, at 2.2? Because you are in a worst case scenario, you don't expect to live in a EA HDB flat fully renovated paying at 3,000 plus.
I guess like you covered earlier, once it is transparent, it's clear that you play out the worst case scenario, it actually is okay. Because a lot of people are doomsday preppers.
Yes.
But if you look back at their 10, 15 years, very stable. Suddenly want to buy private property. What if I grow another head and then eat more?
Understand. Yeah. So I guess it goes back to education. I think it's still prevalent. I mean, in the Malay community, we always think that you have to be rich to buy a private property. But actually now there's a lot more Malays in the private property market. But maybe they only hear about the stories where, I have to sell the property because I can't afford the installment.
Oh, that's true. Because the good stories, normally people don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But the bad stories will be more juicy. And it will be spread.
Correct. We are attracted to negative news, negative stuff. That's why, like they say, newspaper headlines.
Yeah.
If they say, it's going to be a sunny day, nobody will care. It's going to be stormy and gloomy,
They have more impressions, more readers.
Exactly. I mean, but here's the thing. I'm talking about the community, right? If you move into a private property, the only thing that you can show off is the social proof of, this is a nice house, I'm having the nice pool. But of course, not a lot of people in the community talk about the money aspect. There's zero cash monthly. Like, I don't know if it's a flex or not, but I can't imagine people talking about it on social media. You don't see these things. Yeah. So what we're sharing is real life situations. Okay. So another concept is the power of leverage.
Okay.
So the difference between buying stocks or ETFs, for example, you have to pay, let's say you want to own $100,000 worth of stocks or ETF, you have to pay $100,000 worth. Okay, you guys can talk about margin calls and all that, margins and all that. What do they call it?
I think also leverage.
Also leverage,
I think options, is it?
Yeah, so it's like you can also loan from brokerage on to extend to buy more stocks.
Yeah, but the problem is the volatility.
Yes, it is volatile. But anyway, going back to real estate, if you're buying $1 million of property, you're actually putting in $250,000. But you own $1 million worth. So if the prices go up 3%, goes up not based on the deposit you put in, but based on the total asset you own. So that is fantastic. So that is the power of leverage. Do you call it is it passive doubling?
Passive doubling.
Yeah,
yes,
passive doubling.
This is a marketing term that I heard. I believe iQuadrant was using it.
I see.
But essentially, it's the same concept. Some would call it 2x. So essentially, in this table that we are looking at, you are doubling your property value every 5 years.
Okay.
So the assumption would be 25% down, 75% loan, 2.5% year-on-year increment. So you will get, for the first property of 500,000, you will get appreciation of about 60,000.
Correct.
And then principal paid, because you take on a loan, there is two portions, principal and interest. So the principal paid is about 62,000 over 5 years. So the total net gain in 5 years is 250. From 125, you double your equity to 250. And then every 5 years, you can double this
amount. Correct.
But in reality, the first step is always a huge multiplier.
Right.
Meaning you don't go from 500. It's not linear. Most of our clients, from a 800K property, they don't go up just 2x. It's usually the first step will be 2.5, 3, even 4.
Understand.
Then, of course, the next one will be more conservative because it's hard to go from 3 million to 6 million.
Correct.
It's usually from 3 to 4.
Exactly.
4 to 4.8. Something like that.
But of course, in this example, say you sold off your 500K HDB flat. Eventually, there's a 250K gain. I'm just going to go through this table.
Okay.
Like, let's say, real case scenario. So you bought a 500K HDB. Sorry.
Yes.
In a period of 5 years, your capital gain is 62,500. Right? And your total gain, this includes the principal that you paid into the property, is $250,000. Right? This is on how much growth? This is 2%. 2.5%. 2.5%. And then that means you are able, on your second cycle, able to buy a property at $1 million, and you repeat the same cycle. A few things have to happen. Number one, it has to be an appreciating market.
Yep.
Every 5 years, it's stable 2, 3%, 4%. And then number two is as long as you can afford the monthly installment. That's very important. Because once you hit the fourth cycle, which is 4 million, it's a bit tough to get that 75% loan unless your salary has increased.
Yep.
And
goes up in tandem.
Yeah, it goes up in tandem, exactly. Yeah, so this is the power of leverage in real estate. If you understand this, then it will open up your mind to possibilities. It's not just simply, I want to upgrade to a condo from a HDB. Can I afford it or not? It's really about this. And when you talk about affordability, it's also a spectrum of things. Some people talk about, the monthly installment. Some people talk about, how much cash I have to top up. Some people talk about, I want to pay it before a certain age. So affordability can come in many forms. And what is your
That's true.
meaning? Yeah, going back to this case, when it comes to upgrading, it's very important to do this property selection. What is the framework? What is the strategy that you're buying into? So in their situation, I wanted them to buy into a property which is in the Goldilocks zone for 4 bedders. So Goldilocks is it's not so
Yeah, not too hot, not too cold.
Yeah, not too hot,
just
not
nice.
too cold, just nice. So for 4 bedder, around 2.2 million, it is a good entry price. And there's also a bonus. It is a penthouse, it's on the highest floor. And another bonus, it's facing the sea.
Okay.
All right, pocket sea view, not full. Right, and another bonus is the personal enclosed space. That means the balcony isn't too big. It doesn't take up more than 50% of the total living space. I think it's way below.
Oh, okay.
Right? And for that, this was a no-brainer buy. So if you go out and buy a condo without a framework, just say, hey, this condo is nice.
It's nice, okay.
This condo near MRT, for example, it has gone through this 3 framework process, I don't know. But without having a consultant who can really find these properties for you, then you won't be finding these properties. Okay, you can't do it on your own. I doubt so lah. And the best part is, per square foot is $1,231 PSF. Development average is 1,350. Okay, granted, this space has PES space, which is lower in terms of per square foot, but it is 8.9% below average transacted prices. And there was also an EC coming up, which is Coastal Cabana EC. It is estimated to be launched close to 1,600 per square foot. And it's around, so our development is $370 cheaper per square foot and 10 years older. So it all makes sense in the grand scheme of things. Yeah.
So there are multitude of attributes and factors to determine why this was a no-brainer.
Correct.
Okay, not only price.
Not only
size.
Not only size. Okay, so, but Jeff, why do we buy big units? Why?
Why penthouse?
Why penthouse?
So this strategy that you adopted is called the Penthouse Strategy Framework, PSF.
PSF, wow.
So large floor area advantage. I think like you mentioned over here, simply put, in order for you to make 350,000 gains, you only need for it to increase by 200 PSF.
Okay.
And 200 PSF in 4 years is doable. Doable.
Easy.
And if you're talking about even mid to longer term, it's inevitable.
Right.
So compared to similar 4-bedroom, that is only at about 1,000 square feet or maybe 1,001.
Right.
The same 200 PSF increase will only garner you 200K.
Correct.
So effectively, you maximize your gains by an absolute quantum of more than 150K.
Right.
In the same amount of time, just because you bought a much bigger floor plate.
Correct.
Yeah, your PSF movement will really do you good, do you wonders.
Yeah. So that's why when people ask me, hey, I want to buy a 1-bedder studio, I tell them like, okay, if it's a yield play, rental yield, which is also not exciting to be honest, then it's still okay. But if you're talking about capital appreciation, don't. Because let's say 500 square feet, going up by $100 or $200, $100,000, let's say after 5 years, minus your costs, stamp duty, legal fees, consultancy fees, how much will you be getting? Might as well just put it in a fixed deposit. Okay. So yeah, large floor area advantage. Okay. So this is why we bought a penthouse for the clients. So this is another concept called the equity escalator. So eventually at age 65, you'll end up paying any property that you've bought 30 years before in full anyway, right? The plan is to buy something to maximize your capital, what you have, and then leverage on the bank loan. And then eventually, your equity will grow fully maximized because there's two types of growth: capital appreciation and also the equity that you put into the property.
The principal paid.
And by 2046, for this couple, their average age combined is 44.5 years old. Let's say 44 years old. At age 65, they would have fully acquired a fully paid 3.27 million property, which they can divest eventually. Let's say they buy, maybe in the future, 3-room HDB flat, maybe $1 million. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Maybe,
unless you buy the older.
Yeah, maybe they buy a $500,000 3-room HDB flat, let's say. Then they have 2.7 million. 2.7 million, they can do whatever they want with it. They can put it into dividend for dividend play, 6% per annum.
Now it's substantial because the amount is 2.7 million.
Yes.
Versus your 100K that you want to stash away today.
Correct. Plus, there's also a chance for legacy planning because you are earning dividends every month, $11,000-$12,000. So the money is left untouched.
Yep.
If you pass on, the property can be distributed close to 2.73 million. It helps your kid buy a new EC, for example.
Coastal Cabana Part 3. Coastal Cabana 2.
Coastal Cabana 3 and 2. A lot of car parks will be taken up. Okay, anyway. Okay, so what are the key takeaways in this case study? So a fully paid HDB feels safe but limits wealth creation potential. So there is this comfort trap, is it? Let's call it a comfort. Yeah, you're just comfortable in a fully paid HDB that you don't think about your future. When in Singapore, how you retire is really correlated with what type of property you end up with at age 65. So if you're still in your 30s, 40s, then go for the jugular. Okay, because again, property is a very safe asset to invest in.
Yep.
Sure, there'll be market downs, ups and downs, but for it to be falling below 20% or something, unlikely unless the leaders make a very bad decision.
It's very unlikely. As much as we sound biased, the reason why we say unlikely, we don't say things like this lightly, because the data has shown that after 2013, where you have all the cooling measures.
Correct.
You take out all the weak players. Now you're only left with the strong players.
Correct.
And the holding power is really, really strong. Plus the fact that MAS is ensuring that you do not overborrow up to 2.5 times because of the stress test.
Yeah.
So we are really very conservative. Even the wealth in terms of how much of our wealth is in a property is now much lower.
Correct.
Yeah.
In fact, even though we can leverage up to 75%,
correct.
Yeah, the amount of money inside properties nowadays is very high. So yes, there's nothing to worry about.
So the loan to value on average, I think 40+% only.
Yeah. No, I think it's lesser. Much lesser. Okay, a lot of Singaporeans actually fully pay off their property. But anyway, what we're saying is, so real estate is actually a very safe investment. Sometimes I'm also dumbfounded by people who are working in civil service. Like for example, you work in civil service, work for the government.
Yep.
That means you depend on the government for income, but you are very worried about property prices falling. Because private property, although it sounds like private property, but the government has a lot of say how prices move.
I guess uninformed. Uninformed. And then, like we mentioned earlier, bad news travels fast, right?
Fast, yeah.
And then it's the only news that is traveling.
Correct, yeah.
Because those who are profiting slowly, building their wealth through real estate, they are not flamboyant about it. They're not talking, but you only hear the distressed sales, cannot pay the mortgage. That's why, like you said, cognitive or confirmation bias. Only for the rich.
Correct.
Or maybe that's the reason why. And I don't know. And some of the consultants out there or agents out there, they are order takers. You want to buy this? Okay, can.
Understand.
You want? You get what I mean? Yeah. I want to sell. Okay, sell. I want to buy this. I buy. But there is no journey where you embark and the consultant asks you why. Yeah, like you mentioned, because they wouldn't have uncovered or discovered this before meeting you.
Correct.
Right. That's a comfort trap.
Yeah. And also another thing, yesterday, another guy asked me, we were chatting about, the private property market, a potential client. And he was asking me, how much do you charge commission, right? I say I charge the standard market rate. It's the same. And then I said, if you're looking for the cheapest, of course it's home seller. And they are reliable if you're just selling.
Yep.
But if you are planning to upgrade to a condo, I suggest not to go that route because when you are going through your property journey from your HDB to a private property, you really need someone as a coach in a way. So an agent acts as a psychological, it's as a coach, right? They're always going to tell you, because there are going to be points where you're going to doubt yourself.
Yep.
And then this agent or this consultant has to be able to provide you the data, statistics, motivation for you to go through with the process.
Eventually make the jump.
Exactly. Because I have an easier time with people from a private property going to another private property. It's much easier.
Yep.
Right? Because they don't need a lot of coaxing because they made money in their private property. They were from HDB previously, so I did the hard part maybe 10 years ago. But now going through second and third property, it's easy. But for those of you who are going from a HDB to a condo, that is where the devil will come to you. All these whispers. And if you don't have a good consultant, oh my gosh, then you're just going to go buy another maisonette or another executive apartment without having someone there. Okay, so second takeaway is strategic leverage turns this 550,000 into 3.3 million over 21 years. So that is the power of real estate. To own $1 million worth of asset, you don't have to pay $1 million. The banks will finance you for 75% and you only put up 25%. In this case, it's 2.2 million. So that's $550,000. All right. And you must know your exact monthly commitment upfront. That is one of the ways you become less worried about things.
Fear is in the vague.
Number 4, there's a lot of key takeaways. So the bank has 75% skin in the game. They've already vetted the asset. They've got all this an army of consultants and professionals there. Large floor area amplifies gain. All right, $200 increase equals to $357,000 profit because the bigger the floor plate, the easier it is for you to profit because you don't need so much PSF increase. And property by design is strategy over emotion, math over fear. So that's very important. Okay, the numbers do not lie. Yeah. Any questions so far, Jeff?
I think all is good. In summary, you have to unlock the why, the when, the what, eventually the how, and then the who.
Correct.
Yeah. So in order for you to know who, you have to meet more than one, definitely. And the more you meet, the more you can tell the good from the bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. Profound. And that's it.
So that is it for today's case study, Property by Design miniseries. We will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.